Hi, welcome to OTCMStudio, where today I'll be showing you how to make my newest pattern, the Lemon Posset top. This top has bust stars for shaping and cute ties at the shoulder, which you can tie into bows or just knot it. And it has lining across the top of it. You can wear it tucked in or loose, and let's just jump right into it. Sew a line of stabilizing stitches on all the necklines, including the front and back and the lining pieces. Here you can see that my lining pieces are white and my main fabric is colorful. When you get to the V at the neckline, back stitch and stop sewing, then start from the other shoulder down to the V-neck again. Make sure to trace the darts on the wrong side of the front bodice and the front bodice lining. Pinch the dart so that the lines match up with right sides together. Then pin the dart in place. Sew along the line you traced onto the fabric, starting at the side. Backstitch at the beginning, but not at the end of the dart. When you finish it, tie the two threads with a knot and snip off the excess. Repeat on the other side of the front pattern piece and the two darts on the front lining piece. Press the dart down towards the hem. Please ignore how dirty my ironing board is. I need to put a new cover on it. Place the narrower end of the strap on top of the front pattern piece at the shoulder with right sides together. Pin in place and stitch. Repeat with the other front shoulder and then the back pattern piece. Add the straps to the lining pieces as well as the back piece, and once you've sewn them all together, press the seams open on all of them. Place the front pattern piece down with right side up. Place the front lining piece on top with right sides facing. Pin the lining to the main fabric all along the underarm, straps and neckline. Start sewing at the underarm and then just continue along the straps, cross the top of the strap, down again into the V-neck, and then the same on the other side of the top. get to the point in the V-neck, lift the presser foot, turn your fabric around, put the presser foot down, and continue sewing. Trim the seam allowance, and then press the seam towards the lining. Understitch as far as you can along the underarm and the neckline. Understitching is when you sew a line of stitches close to the edge of the facing or the lining to keep it from rolling towards the inside. Make sure that the seam allowance is pushed towards the lining and that you're sewing through both the lining fabric and the seam allowance fabric, but not the main fabric. This might be a little tricky to do when you get close to the straps, as you can't really go into them, but just do it as far along as you can, and then backstitch, break your thread, and continue from where you can. Trim the corners of the straps and also clip into the seam allowance at the V-neck, but be very careful not to cut into the stitching. Repeat the previous steps with the back and attach the back pattern piece and the back lining together with right sides facing. Pin the lining to the main fabric along the underarm, straps and neckline. Stitch, then trim the seam allowance and press the seams towards the lining. Just like with the front, understitch as far as you can along the underarm and the neckline. Trim the corners of the straps and also clip into the seam allowance at the V-neck, but be careful not to cut into the stitching. As you can see, I am cutting the seam allowance, trimming it all along where I just attached the lining and the main fabric. This will help us when we're turning it right side out. Understitch on the back pattern piece as well. Remember, you're stitching on the lining, but have the seam allowance that you've just trimmed pressed towards the linings, so you're sewing through a couple different layers. Open the lining up and place the front and back pieces on top of each other with right sides together. Match the seams of the lining on the front and the lining on the back pieces. As you can see, I'm matching up these seams first, pinning it there, and then continuing on to pin the rest of it. Sew the top together at the sides. Finish the seam allowance with a zigzag stitch or an overlocker. Press the seams towards the back, and then repeat on the other side. Finish the hem of the lining with a zigzag stitch or an overlocker, or alternatively you can sew a bias binding along the hem of the lining to make it prettier. Then turn the top right side out by pulling the straps through. Press the underarm, the straps and the neckline. Finish the hem of the main fabric by turning it up by 7 mm once and then by another 8 mm. Press, pin it in place, and then top stitch close to the folded edge. This means you will be sewing on the right side of the fabric. Tie the straps at the shoulder into a bow or just a knot, and then congratulations, you're done with your new top. If If you've enjoyed this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, and you can find the pattern link in the description below. If you end up making it, do let me know. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.